here. He said, not flogging your children will make them take you for granted. I tried it with my daughter and it did not work. Spare the rod. I don't agree. The child can take the flogging. Remember, we use the term malicious compliance. Over a period. Okay, that child you did not develop a mutual communication relationship with as a toddler, as a preteen, okay, that you are flogging. By the time the child becomes a teenager, those are the things that lead to issues of talking back. You say the person is unruly, and there will be a stage at which you cannot flog that child or young person anymore. But a child that has grown up within an environment where you know there are things you have agreed on, whatever consequences are applied as agreed, even when that child becomes a young adult, still living on with you, all those are applicable. There's mutual respect. Okay? There's mutual respect. The story I said I was going to share was, you know, one of my first daughter actually, when in her high school years, they used to go for, lesson, okay, to tutorials. And of course, we have had discussions. Feel free to bring your friends home, okay? And then try not to go visiting your friends when their parents are not in. So don't invite your friends. Let's agree that you are not going to be inviting your friends to come home when we are not. No, so let build that confidence in them. Oh, mom, dad, mom, this is my friend, either male or female. Let everybody know who your friends are. So there was this particular occasion. I left. I had gone to work. For some reason, I can't remember. I had to get back home to pick up something. As I drove into where we used to live then was a close. As I turned to get into the close, I saw a young man, walking, towards our house. Of course, I knew him. It was my daughter has always my friend. We go to lesson together. Not fine. So as I was driving, so he looked back and saw as one, approaching him. He walked past our gate. I was like surprised. What's going on here? Yeah. I got to the gate, I hit and then they opened the gate. I drove in. And I came down and I told my daughter, I said, I saw your friend. He said, who? I said, but he saw me driving one, but he walked past the gate. And there's nobody else down the street. It's a close. We lived almost at the end of the close. Anyway. So what's, and I said to her, look, listen, I don't think that you be careful around that person. Okay? Be careful around that person. Because what it means is, if anybody that cannot be comfortable, oh, hello, sir, how are you? Maybe it's even the one that will knock on the gate and they open the gate and I will take what I want to take and I'll go. But the fact that it didn't feel comfortable, with me being around at that time, I said, be careful. Okay? So, and my daughter was like, oh, yes, Dad. And that was really it. It wasn't long after that there were issues around that young man that got to get to law enforcement and things like that, and with some other, young persons that they were all friends about that time, issue of rape and all. And I said, well, and I called my daughter. I said, you not Do you remember what I said to you about this person that time? I said his attitude was very suspicious. If you cannot feel comfortable, if your children's friend not feel comfortable visiting them when you are around, something is wrong. Yeah. And I reminded her again, please remember, don't go visiting anybody when their parents are not around, and try not to invite. You see, I didn't invite Simo, I didn't invite anybody. I said, well, yeah, I believe you, but I'm just reminding you, okay? Yeah, so you can talk through behavior. You cannot instill discipline, that's the meat. Or if I show, like this person now that said, spare the rod and spoil the child, that's the meat. That's a meat. It's going to cause more harm than do any good. So you don't want to use it. Your children should be able to feel free to tell you what they feel respectfully. Your children should be able to know that they have done something wrong and they know what the consequence is, because you've agreed. Because you have agreed on boundaries. Leveraging from your honor, from your family values, your culture, your tradition. Yeah. That works. That helps.